Hello, everyone. Welcome to TeloYouth Saturday morning educational webinar. Today, we have Dr. Tina and Dr. Chris on the line. They have a combined 60 years of experience as naturopathic practitioners. They are internationally renowned educators and speakers. Most importantly, they are the formulators of our incredible products, Saran Youth Serum and TeloYouth. Good morning, Dr. Tina, Dr. Chris.
Good morning, MJ. Good morning, everyone out there in the listening world and visual world.
Good morning. How is everyone today? I hope you're all doing well. We're all being faced with being quarantined and social distancing. So coming on together with our webinars is absolutely wonderful, especially, I know for me to be able to connect with all of you. So thank you so much for joining us. And today we are going to be talking about a great topic, and that is stem cells and stem cell technology. So Dr. Chris, would you like to jump in and start the webinar?
Sure will. It is a great topic. We've been hearing about stem cells so much lately. Pretty exotic and sexy topic from the standpoint that they can turn into any other type of cell and replenish, themselves while they do that. So pretty unique process in the body. But what's been learned over the years is that the true workhorses and the secrets to stem cells are in its signal proteins. These are signal molecules that are part of the stem cell pool or that exists. And also, we've discovered that there's these tiny vesicles called exosomes, and they also play a major part in stem cell technology. And the third dynamic of what we've learned in the last decade actually is that the mitochondria of the stem cells play a key role. And they're major players because they donate these little energy machines, which are the mitochondria, to a injured or damaged cell. So here you see these three dynamics that go on: the signal proteins that direct what's needed to happen within the tissue and the cells that are being worked on, these exosomes, these tiny little packets of RNA, which is information, nuclear, nucleic genetic information. And the exosomes play their unique role in the signaling and repair and regeneration. And then this third area, the mitochondria, they act as a source to reinforce the energy that's lost within a cell. A cell is damaged and injured, and if it isn't able to repair itself, well, the stem cells donate their own mitochondria to boost the energy of the damaged cell. So you see this remarkable orchestration that goes on, and as you'll see in today's presentation, why Dr. Tina and I chose very specific ingredients in TeloYouth to facilitate this process, to enhance it and support the body's natural ability to regenerate and rejuvenate. So, Dr. Tina, I'm going to turn it back to you, and let's get a little deeper and see what this is all about.
Sure. And, stem cell and stem cell technology is so incredibly important today. It's a hot topic because we believe it to be the fountain of youth. If we can activate our stem cells, if we can get our stem cell cycle going as though we were young, we have the ability to rejuvenate. And so introducing one of our members, one of our very lovely members, she is in her mid to late 60s. And as you can see, she started to take TeloYouth. And what I want to bring to your attention here is that you can see her before and after from day 1 to day 90. These are untouched photos, by the way. And when you look at her outside appearance, you can't make changes on the outside visibly unless there's something going on the inside as well. And when you start to take TeloYouth, you start to activate this stem cell cycle as though you were young. And one of the things that she was experiencing was depression. So she wasn't feeling that great. She had knee pain and she had low energy. And you're going to see that these signs or these imbalances are a way of accelerated aging. And by day 90, physically, you can see how much she has changed. But you can also see and sense, for those of you that get the energy around this, you can see that she just seemed lighter. And so this is true rejuvenation, and you can do this without having to go get very expensive stem cell injections, and technology where you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. Now, one of the things that's important to know is that this does not happen overnight. Whole body rejuvenation, it took you a while to get where you're at. And so when we talk about whole body rejuvenation, we talk about jump starting your system and taking the time to be able to allow your body to work backwards and rebuild your stem cell pool. And that's what we're going to be talking about here. So people always ask, did she use your Surion skin serum? No, we didn't even have our Surion skin serum at the time. So this is before even using the rejuvenating factors of our skin serum. And then people also want to know, well, how much did she take? And she was taking 8 capsules in the morning and 8 capsules at night to do her rejuvenation. And we've been talking about stem cells. So we have our mesenchymal stem cells. And a stem cell has a unique ability to develop into a specialized cell type in the body. And when we're young, as a newborn, 1 in 10,000 cells are stem cells. That's just incredible. You look at the ability for our body to regenerate, to grow real quickly, and that's what we need to do. But then as time moves on and we see age 80, we see that our stem cells decline considerably, that 1 in 2 million cells is a stem cell. And it's so interesting because when we have all of these stem cells, that's our self-renewing capacity, and it helps our immune modulation. And whenever we have a stem cell that we activate and utilize, we have a stem cell pool. Whenever that gets utilized or activated, not only does it go to work wherever our body needs it, but it also creates another one. So you can see as we age, if we don't keep activating those stem cells, that pool greatly declines. And just to give you a little correlation here between what we're seeing, some of this is going to make sense to you when you see the declines in stem cells and energy, as we're going to show you. You're also going to see the increase rate of when we're looking at the estimated fatality rate by age for the COVID-19. When we don't have our stem cells active, when we don't have that nice pool, when our immunity is lower, our renewal factors are lower, you can see that the fatality rate goes up. Look at what we're looking at between the ages of 80 to 89 versus ages 10 to 19. And a lot of this has to do with our mitochondria, our immune system, and our stem cells.
Well, what you see here is a graphic on what a cell, an image of a cell, and inside the cell are these tiny little energy machines. These are the mitochondria. And we focus on sharing this knowledge about the mitochondria and this information is because we are energy beings first, and we need to understand that without energy, there's no life. And it's the energy that allows the body to make the molecules, do the chemistry, and do all the physiology that happens within the body. So being energy beings first, we have the ability to do all the many things that our bodies do, and oftentimes we just get lost in the complexity. But understand that if you maintain the vitality and the energy of your body, you're going to maintain this incredible orchestration that goes on between all the different systems, the nervous system, the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, and most importantly, the immune system, which we talk about being the operating system in the body. So the key to understand is that these mitochondria, they function by moving electrons, moving the energy through the body. So it's not just proteins, fats, and carbohydrates we learn about with food. It's how the food is converted and to make electrons that do all the function and vitality within the body. So in this next slide, you're going to see a graph that shows the decline, as we've explained earlier. And as we decline in our mitochondria and stem cells with age, we've realized that because they're the ability to replace the signal proteins that facilitate the regeneration of the body, we can naturally reverse the aging process, not just slow it down, but actually reverse it by introducing very specific ingredients that facilitate the regeneration of stem cells. And when we regenerate stem cells, we make more mitochondria, because the mitochondria are obviously the key components of brand new cells. So not only do we boost the number of new cells, but these new cells have larger mitochondria, a greater number of mitochondria, so that you see the thousands of these little energy devices that are inside the heart cells and the brain cells and the immune cells that require so much energy. All of this is revitalized, and you see the health and vitality come back to the individual. And as Dr. Tina was explaining earlier, it's not just the physical health and vitality, but the emotional balance and stability that's there, and the mental clarity that comes back. So these are all the things that the individuals that we're working with TeloYouth are experiencing, and we were just so excited to help you understand it and share this technology.
Dr. Chris, it's so interesting. Sorry, Dr. Chris, it's so interesting. You see the correlation here between, the decline in your energy, your mitochondria activity, and then your stem cell activity. So it's just so interesting. People think that we lose energy as we age. And the real way I'd like you to take a look at this, is we age because we lose the ability to make energy. And there's so many interferences today, so many different factors that affect our mitochondria and our stem cell activity, and more than what we've ever been faced with before when we're talking about our whole culture. And we all know what we're being exposed to. We don't have to go into that, but the stressors that we're all being faced with today are pushing this decline. And we're seeing even some of these challenges in the body and imbalances happening at a younger age for people. And so we have the ability to change that with TeloYouth. And Dr. Chris was talking about cell signaling. This is so important. Cellular signaling is it's key. We have to have this in order to be able to rejuvenate. We can eat these foods all day long, but if we don't get the cell signaling and get this function working, we're going to continue down the decline path. And the signaling is the ability of our cells to perceive and correctly respond to our microenvironment. And this helps with development, tissue repair, immunity, as well as being in balance. Now, when these signaling interactions and the cellular processing is out of balance or is not functioning or is declining, that's when we see these larger imbalances in the body. So the less signaling we have, the more imbalances we can see in the body. Dr. Chris, is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, I think let's illustrate a little bit more and look closer and deeper into the cell.
Great. So we're going to show this video here on what healthy signaling looks like. And then at the end, you're going to see that these glycoforms on the outside of the cell, as they start to decline, you're going to see how an unhealthy cell responds in the body.
Inside cells, these sugars combine with protein strands and form complex structures called glycoforms. The exterior of a healthy cell is covered with a dense forest of these glycoforms. Glycoforms can exchange infinite combinations of information depending on their shape and charge. Glycoforms are present on the surface of all cells and actually prevent viruses, bacteria, and other enemy cells from entering a healthy cell by blocking the entrance to the cell's surface. Glycoforms can hold on to an enemy cell until an immune system cell can arrive to destroy it. Healthy immune system cells can also accurately identify normal cells and not interfere with their function. Cells covered with glycoforms enable clear and accurate cell-to-cell and system-to-system communication, creating an information superhighway within the body. Glycoforms play a vital role in every human physiological process: immune system response, tissue regeneration, cell replication, growth, and structural stability. They are even responsible for the attraction of sperm cells to an egg cell surface to foster fertilization. Without vital sugars and a variety of other micronutrients, cells cannot create glycoforms. The result is a breakdown in cellular communication and immune system response. Depleted cells are unable to defend themselves effectively, so cell structures can be damaged and are not effective in healing and regenerating. In this weakened state, cells cannot communicate effectively, compromising the body's ability to identify problems. They are also unable to destroy pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, and fungi, and cannot identify mutated cells so the immune system can eliminate them. For example, when a person suffers from an autoimmune disorder, their compromised immune system may respond inappropriately and treat altered normal cells as intruders and destroy them. It may allow mutated cells to proliferate, or the immune system may not respond at all, leaving the body extremely vulnerable to many types of infectious agents.
Okay, very interesting, because now you're beginning to see what Dr. Tina meant when she explained that we're dealing with a microenvironment, not just the external environment. And when we selected the specific ingredients for TeloYouth, this is the area that we wanted to focus on. We wanted to focus on developing those glycoforms and the specific nutrients that support the growth and development of those glycoforms. So if you look at this graphic of a cell, it illustrates cell signaling. On the outside is the surface of the cell is actually the brain of the cell, and this is where these glycoforms are that receive the signaling and messages that go in and out. And then inside the cell itself, you have these little energy factories that we've been talking about the mitochondria that give us the vitality and energy and the ability to to just do all the things, and especially regeneration, so that you don't decline with age at a rapid pace. And actually, when you have declined at an accelerated pace, you have an opportunity to reverse that with the proper nutrients that facilitate this microenvironment. And then you have a healthy expression of the genes that are in the nucleus, in the center there of the cell. You see the nucleus, and this is where the genetic material is that we've inherited from our parents. So you see this incredible dynamic that gets orchestrated and goes on. And so you have a microenvironment within this tiny little cell, which, the trillions of cells that it requires to make up our body. But then you have multi-trillions of those trillions of mitochondria that facilitate the energy, and all the glycoforms on the surface of those cells. So it's a pretty dynamic orchestration of signaling and communication. And this is what it looks like. In the next slide, you see an actual sequence of events that happen. So a cell that's in need of repair that you see on the left side of the chart there, it sends out its signal, and the signal goes out to repair, regenerate. It calls for stem cells. And so the body, if it gets the right kinds of signals and is in the balance and health that it should be in, it releases those stem cells that come out of the bones, because in the large bones you have the bone marrow, and this is where we manufacture these stem cells. So we implement the manufacturing and the release of these stem cells, and then the stem cells ultimately get activated. And when they're activated, this is when they facilitate the repair. Dr. Tina, you want to share a little bit more about the ingredients that we've introduced with TeloYouth that facilitate this process?
Okay, and just to help kind of connect the dots here, when we were talking about our stem cell cycle and our stem cell pool, you have the ability, no matter where you're at, whether you're at the age of in your 30s or 40s, or you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, you have a stem cell pool, which means you're alive, and you can activate your stem cells through this cycle that Dr. Chris just talked about. And every time you start to activate it, you create another one. So instead of your stem cell pool declining, you can keep activating, putting another one back into your stem cell pool, because that's what happens when we activate our stem cell. One goes to work, and then it replicates and puts another one back into your pool. Then you can create longevity. So when we look at our ingredients, we were very, very specific about how we wanted this process to work and how we wanted to support this cycle in the body. And you look at the 3 ingredients for stem cell release. The aloe vera gel extract is very, very key in creating these glycoforms, because all of those nutrients, we used to be able to get those in our food to build those glycoforms on the outside of our cells, but we don't anymore. We're lucky if we get 1 or 2 of them in our foods. And so we have to get the right nutrients to rebuild our cellular communication. So with the aloe vera, the chaga mushroom, and the rhodiola, these 3 ingredients are incredible to release the stem cells out of our bones into our bloodstream. And then when we look at our marine collagen, the marine collagen is there to build those healthy bones. And I just find it so interesting that when we're talking about bone health right now, osteoporosis, osteopenia is just really, really off the charts. And a lot of the medical industry that is bringing in these solutions that they call these medicines is actually making our bones worse. So we need to go back to whole foods to be able to build these healthy bones. And our marine collagen supports that process so that we can continue to produce those stem cells in our healthy big bones. Now, there are other products out there that do stem cell release and then help your bones, but we have very few ingredients that have been proven to actually activate your stem cells. And when we look at our fertilized tissue extract, this was the missing component that we found when Dr. Chris and I were formulating, that actually activated all of those stem cells that are floating around in the bloodstream. It actually connected the dots and said, okay, let's activate those stem cells. So when you saw the picture, the before and after of our member, you can see that not only, I mean, with such a great result within 90 days, you have to activate those stem cells from the inside out to build that collagen, to make your healthy liver, your kidneys, to support the heart and the circulation in the body. And so the two ingredients that we have here, the fertilized tissue extract and the L-arginine, support the actual activation for them to go and actually repair a cell that's in need. And again, when that happens, it creates another one to put in your stem cell pool. It's kind of like, think of this, when we don't exercise, our cells, our muscles atrophy. When we don't activate our stem cells, the pool gets smaller. Dr. Chris, is there anything you want to add here?
I would like to just, it's a little technical, but it goes back to the beginning of our conversation where we talked about how stem cells work. They work by signaling. They work by these exosomes that delivers very unique information that come out of the stem cells. And we also have the energy that is donated by the mitochondria. So each one of these ingredients, you see the aloe vera boosts the immune system to facilitate the release of the signals that go on. And you see the energy production that happens with the chaga mushroom and its ability to capture light and facilitate the vitality and energy that occurs in the mitochondria. The rhodiola facilitates the central nervous system so that it can signal and communicate in a healthy way to handle not just the stressors in our environment, but once you handle the stressors, you can reinforce the regeneration and repair. So this is the science behind these superfoods that facilitate this process and what we've captured in a capsule. And this is something that we're really excited to help you understand and appreciate when you take your TeloYouth every day.
And keep in mind, when you take your TeloYouth, because it is like stem cell support in a bottle. You don't have to go get these major injections and spend a ton of money. You can do this in the comfort of your own home while you're social distancing. And you have the ability to do this. And sometimes when you get started with the product, it's not as comfortable as you might like it to be, because over time, what happens is our body accumulates into the cells, into the tissues, into the systems, into the organs, all of these toxins that we've built up because our body didn't have the energy, the mitochondrial energy, to be able to naturally detoxify us on a daily basis. So you might feel a little discomfort, but work with the person who introduced you to the product to get started with the product in a way that works for you. You don't have to jump in and do 8 and 8. You can start slower and increase, as your body gives you that feedback mechanism. So we always tell everyone, please let your body tell you what your next steps are, because it knows and you know it more than anyone else. So when we look at our ingredients here, what's important to know is that when we formulated TeloYouth, there were 3 things that were so important, and it was the synergy of the ingredients, how they work together. This matters. Dr. Chris talked about the ingredients earlier. It's the synergy. The second thing that is really important is the ratio. It's the balancing of the amounts of these active ingredients. If you have too much of one ingredient and you don't have enough of the other, it doesn't function well. and it's the quality. Our ingredients, they're therapeutic, they're highly concentrated, they are clean whole foods, and they are processed to retain their nutritional value, their efficacy, and more importantly, their signaling properties. So they're not denatured as we process them. So those are the key things that you need to understand: the synergy, the ratios, and the quality of the ingredients.
So well said. You know, those ratios really determine the therapeutic value of the ingredient. You know, so many other formulas have been in this industry as long as we have. We know that sometimes just for marketing, individuals will put a very key ingredient in their formula, but just dust it. You know, they'll just put a tiny bit just so they can say it's in the formula, but it won't be a therapeutic amount, and that's so important. So thank you for sharing that, Dr. Tina. So everyone, this has been a great pleasure for us. Know that these calls are for educational purposes only. They're not designed to treat, cure, or ameliorate any type of disease. You want to be sure to work with your health professional to deal with any type of health issues that you have. But we're helping you understand what nature has provided and given to us in order to not just discover, but to use and to fortify the body in a way that is so unique and not available in our daily diets. So we've helped discover very unique ingredients that facilitate this process of revitalization and energy. And we want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks everyone. MJ, back to you.